It's lighting lighting isn't quite where I'm expecting it to be. Um, so that'll be better at some point in the future. Um, but in the setup, everything's going to be better, is what I'm saying. But it's not. We're not there yet. Um, Suffice to say, I'm actually finally able to do something other than work in that classroom. It's still not 100% the classroom, but it will be very shortly. And once it's all ready, I think what I'll do is I'll put together like a behind the scenes. I don't know. I'll do some sort of video for it, or maybe just a quick tour. At some point, I downloaded a program for my phone. It's supposed to let me stream to OBS. Um, so maybe we could use that for giving the room tour. Uh, but anyways, the lapel stuff is even better now. That's some good news. The lapel stuff is better, and the reason why is from the wireless transmitter, we'll be able to plug in two microphones. Hopefully, um, I know that in microphones, there's something kind of like power over Ethernet, but it's power over the microphone stuff. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna clear this out, and I've been trying to find a replacement battery for my UPSs. $20 for new batteries, or about $25 for new batteries for two UPSs to have some security, with power outages and stuff like that, is not too shabby. So that'll be good. Let's find out what desktop we're on. We're on desktop Uno. How do you rename these things? Okay. Why is this 3 if there's 3 here? Let's see. Docs. Reading. Code. Notes. All right, so yeah, we're gonna get ourselves situated here for the game. This is something I'm working on for some DM stuff, some D&D stuff that I'll be doing. So I'm using Obsidian Notes, and you can do some cool stuff. Like you can basically query your notes. You can store data as a YAML at the start of a note, and then you can query against it and build out these tables. And then the query language looks a bit like SQL query. So it's super handy though, because I'll be able to. I'm gonna make it so that people who are playing the game will have their own Obsidian vault, and they'll be able to create their character in that vault and put their notes for their character and all that kind of stuff in the vault. If they so choose, they can use the PDFs if they want. But when they're choosing different things like feats and stuff like that, it'll just have access to all that data, and they don't have to look it up in the book. They can just go to the feats section here, and open this up and just see. So I feel like it would be useful as a player. They don't have to use it, but it doesn't matter one way or another. I need the data because I need this stuff to be able to roll out my own NPCs and things like that. So anyways, that's what this is. So let me go over and open up, let's see. So here's the other thing that's different. I don't know if I like it. I'll be totally honest. I've got the monitors. Normally I had a monitor stacked on top of the other. So when I would look at chat, I just have to look up. And the other thing is people wouldn't know if I was looking at the chat, which was kind of helpful because it just the flow and everything was just better. But now when I'm going to look at the chat, it's going to be very clear, like glance over. And I liked that I kind of was looking up like the Brady Bunch, thing. So I might actually move where the chat is in Obsidian. Anyway, let's see. We got my coding Kanban. Where is it? Let's close this out. Where are you, buddy? Why are you all the way? Why does this happen sometimes? For the love of Windows. There we go. Well, it's one of those oddities, There needs to be something. I don't know. It's God. I mean, God bless it. God bless it. All right. Now, let's go over to our code. So, yeah, I'm going to be just kind of getting my head wrapped around where I was. What was going on? What was I doing? So that's going to be a little bit of today. There's our little Mario. Our test sprite. Our texture for our little actors. Okay. Let's go to the code here. And I show a couple of modified files, which means I didn't do a commit before we... How do you view... Source control is... This is so helpful. Control-Shift-GG. So I have to hit Control-Shift-G, lift my hand up from the shift and the control, and then press G again. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know why that cracks me up so. Oh my God, it made me laugh so much I have the hiccups. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah, we were doing, I did a little bit of that's right. Okay. So I'll just make a quick commit for this. Cancel. Never mind. I'm not going to do it through here. Shift E. Holy smokes. What happened? Where am I? Git ignore. Oh, that's not even a git ignore. That's just Godot ignore. Godot. All right, so close that out. And why does it want... What does it say is different? What did I do? Oh, I accidentally duplicated a piece of some stuff there. So I hope everyone's doing good. I'm actually very... Let me make sure I get... Give me a second. Oh, that's right. We're just going to go to our TV here. The AMD. Which one's which? I don't know. I don't have sound. I don't have sound going out to I do not have sound going out. Let me just play something with sound here. Let's get to YouTube. Oh wow, we're yelling. YouTube. That's like John Malkovich. Malkovich. Here we go. NES dev environment.
Hey, I'm Ryan
and nothing.
Hacker. So,
I met with silence. You guys are probably hearing something.
Or at the very least,
let's
well, you're in luck.
Try this one.
In this episode, I'm going to show you how to set up a basic NES development environment.
All right. So at least I'll hear the dings from you guys. Kind of just want to take my headphones off if that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. All right. close this all out. Oh, what can I say? All right, so we've got fixed actor, direction, sprite, compass, facing, correct ways. And how do you just commit and push? Okay. All right. I don't care about those extensions. Thank you, VS Code. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your attempts to help me. Let's see. Okay, so we gotta bless the stream. Today's coaster is Wipeout. Our Wipeout PlayStation PAL. Is this the PAL one? No, this is NTSC. Why are we not? Come on, zoom in. What's going on? There we go. So this is our coaster of the day. You can see these coasters get a lot of love. They even have on the back, look at that. How isn't that cool? Now, I'll repeat again, the lighting in here is going to get better, I promise. And I swear by the sun and the moon in the sky, I'll be there. Yes, I swear. Okay? For heaven and earth, till death do us part. All right, blessing it with the Holy Carmack. Here's to a good code. All right. Yes, I swear by the sun and the moon in the sky, I'll be there. All right. Till death do us part. All right. So I gotta stop saying all right. All right. Move. Woo. She's dead, Jim. He's dead, Jim. Trying to assign a value type of nil to a variable type vector 3. 158 moves. I didn't choose to go anywhere. I was born in the shadows. You merely adopted them. So if I choose a spot that we can't go to, we get mad. Trying to assign value type nil to vector 3 set moves. It's saying array. What is it even talking about? To a variable type vec 3. What is it talking about? Set moves. This isn't even... The line number that it's referring to is not where it's being called. What? It's showing this. Okay, well, we have a bug right off the bat. When selecting a non-movable location, crash when bug till death do us part. I love you with every beat of my heart. Yes, I swear. By the sun and the moon. You know what? Maybe I should start tweeting. Maybe I should engage more in the Twitterverse. A lovely place that everyone is awful to each other, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful playground. A bunch of anonymous people destroying anybody who lives their life in any public manner. It's really cool. I still don't quite get this. Emit signal moves. What are we complaining about? Signal's not going to care. Yes, I swear. You think you know what the bug is? By the sun and the moon. I mean, I know why it's happening. Because I'm giving it pop back returns null. And position is a see, and that's what was throwing me off when I you cannot assign a null to vec3. Right. So we could just do a check. So if moves, this is gonna need to be a little bit more complicated too. Can we do if moves? No, because it's going to be an empty array, so we have to check the size. Is greater than 0. If move size is greater than 0. All right, so yes, I swear, but it's still not enough. We're going to have to do something to let the player know you done effed up. Because why did you pick a spot that you can't move to? So yeah, right now everything is like, I don't know what to do. Okay. All right. So this is technically fixed. And then we need to come up with what to do when someone picks a move space they cannot. When player picks a move space they cannot move actor 2. We give free cursor movement because they'll use the cursor a bit like an inspector. So even though they're choosing the move, they may want to move the cursor around and highlight an enemy to see something about them before they decide to make their move action. Right. I guess this could be prevented earlier too. And I was actually thinking about rewriting. I was thinking about rewriting some stuff as well. Of course. How's it going, Obsidian? How's it going? It's going ducky. Is that something dirty? Is that like a move? Let's the emit signal shouldn't pop until we actually have something to do there. So yes, I swear. Okay. Non-existent function on base and nil. Line 37. It's weird. It's setting me one line above where I'm supposed to be going to. That's strange. So I look a little short right now because I can't get my camera any lower. I may have mounted my monitors a bit too high. I don't know yet. But I mean, they're good for me. The other thing is I'm sitting in a chair today because I'm dead tired from all the work I've been doing in the other room. So the issue may not be that it's sending you too high. Huh? Ah. Okay, so the cursor in choose is selected, but GUI input choose on null. Action is pressed. Okay, so this is where we can handle, hey, you chose something and there's no there's nowhere to go. Right. Right. I get how null can be set. I get that. The cursor position is set elsewhere. I'm just thinking of more broad, like let's see. Move. Yeah, we set no. It's not that we're setting active ability to null after. So this is what's killing it because I'm hitting the button twice. That might be something that you're not seeing on the stream. So we do need to handle. What I need to do here is right. I got you. I got you. Yeah. I'm just. Sorry. It's just sometimes you're just right where I am, and so when I read the chat, it's literally if I had just spent the time to look at the code, I could have reached that conclusion too. So instead, I have to process what you've said, and then I'm still gonna look at the code and understand it, right? So it's kind of funny. It cracks me up. Anyways, let's see. We're gonna. I was heading this way anyways because, like I said, we need some. We right now there's nothing that I'm saying that's like, hey, you. Nothing's gonna happen when you select that. So I'm trying to think about what before I even try to tackle this, because it's not really important, because this is going to go away when I tackle this other issue, which is what do I do for the player when they choose a spot that they're not gonna that they can't move to? What I could do, for instance, is I could like when we choose to do the thing, it could just pop back up here. I feel like a prompt is. Okay. I mean, we could pop up, we could make a pop up that just says, man, so many interactions to think about. Yeah, I could move my camera. Let's see. I gotta bring this over here. All right, just turn off the scene switcher for a second. And then, let's see. We go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's turn scene switcher back on. And here we go. So This is what's triggering the issue in the first place. So if we get rid of this, we don't necessarily the error that we were having on our actor will go away. So I could do this. I'm not going to, but I could do that. Just to confirm that I understand what's happening on a more broad scope. So choose move, and we'll just choose a spot. Yeah, okay. So technically, we don't need that if statement, but we're going to put it in there because we should be safe. And okay, so then we can just do an else on here. Oops. Why are we inline so much? Okay, so we can hit this else, and we'll do a breakpoint here just to confirm that it's where we it's happening when we think it's gonna happen. Have you seen the new Picard? What can I say? All right, so we're hitting the brake. I heard it's like kind of it's taking it has like a kind of a different tone. Okay, so that's a bug. Another bug. And then we move if we okay, so that's good. The last two seasons. That it's more like it's almost like it's paying homage more to the early Trek films, not the next gen ones, but like Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 3 and The Search for Spock. Move. Okay, so here's where we can do something if the player picks a spot that we say, hey, you're being dummy. You're being a dummy. Man, it makes me wonder. I really want to bust out tactics and just see from 2 and 1 or season 1 and season 2. To each other. Right, okay. It does suck that I'm in a like the space that I'm dealing with here is really a no, I haven't. I know you were saying you have next gen on your Plex. That's kind of I kind of want to go back and watch that. Nickname. It's not a wall. That's right, Tev. Yay. I have all the Treks on my Jellyfin. Oh, you're over on Jellyfin? I'm thinking about moving over to that. I almost freaked out. I had something play on Plex, and it it played a commercial, and I thought it was media on my server, and I was like, I'm out. Like, you do not get to play commercials on my stuff. Like, what is this? And I started like going and getting all mad. It's good. We had it wasn't really class today because we were still getting some things moved around, but it's almost completely done. I'm so sore. I'm sore. I hung out with Devereaux yesterday, I think it was, on his stream. He was building a boat. I'm trying to decide what to do right now if the player chooses to move to a spot that you can't move to. Do I have a prompt come up? Do I do this and just kick them back to their action menu? My cat's dramatic blood test came today, and she's healthy. Oh, that's good. But having the blood test in the first place implies something wasn't right? Was there some concern? I don't know. I guess kicking it back here is probably a good way to do it. Rather than I'm just having a lot of thoughts about what I didn't like about other tactical games when it came to the cursor stuff. Seems like only her gums and teeth are an issue. Suspicion was on 2 lethal diseases which have this as a common symptom. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I always had indoor-outdoor cats, and so they would just occasionally they would just disappear. And your suspicion would always be that some wild animal got them or something, and then you'd see them living with our neighbor or something. And it'd be like, oh, you're cheating on me. Okay. All right, fine. I see how it is, kitty cat. I kind of... Okay, so... Oh, let's... Here, we're going to choose intern. I did... Yeah, that's right. We did this. I forgot about this. I totally forgot I did this. So this needs some work. We need to have this pointing in all directions. But this little chevron here, this little triangle is meant to indicate the front-facing direction of our character. And it's temporary. We're gonna make it look better. But that's what that is about. So here's what I'm kind of imagining. So when I think about the other tactical games that I used to play, when you would choose to move, your cursor would go, when you would highlight an enemy, it would show you their stats. And when you would be over something like this, like another piece of tile that you're not actually going to move to, when you would choose it, it would then give you, right now we're hitting a break, but it would give you some piece of information about the tile. It'd be like grasslands or swamp or whatever, and it would list a possibility of effects that it would cause, or some stat piece about that land, right? But what I'm thinking is, because again, I'm still trying to solve the problem of what do we have happen when the player chooses the select button to do something on a location that they can't actually move to. But now I'm thinking it's making me think about like some broader stuff too. In In the same vein that we have when we highlight over somebody, which this actually I need to fix this right now. It's broken because I changed the menu stuff, so I still have to fix that. Let me make sure I have a note of that in our bugs. Fix highlighting. Select cursor. Select. It's not really selected. Fix highlighting cursor selections. Hashtag bug. And we'll just call it a crash. Okay, mine are only indoors. My dumbasses. Let me see my other for 5 minutes. Yeah, where we are, it's cold. And so the cats that are out in the winter are these like beefy, they look like lynx or something. Or lynx are pretty big. They're like bigger than house cats, right? But they're like, no, they're actually, I think they're pretty small. Let me see. No, that is pretty big. Yeah, but they're like these big poofy cats. They just look like, super robust. They just walk in the snow and don't give a damn. They're like, it's cold out. I don't care. I'm looking for mice. If actor. Okay. Sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole. So let me finish my thought. So the thing that I was thinking about is, okay, we're moving the cursor around. Maybe we just have a base info bar. Zoo cats. Just the ones that we don't have any cats where we live right now, but the ones that I see that are outside, they're just like in the wintertime, the ones that are outside are like super poofy. And they got their winter coat on, and they look enormous. They're these huge cats. But maybe if we had some sort of info system. What I'm thinking is, here's the other thing. I'm just gonna everything that I have a problem with on these style of games I'm thinking about right now. So we're dealing with a 16:9 screen, and a lot of them still to this day split the information at the top and the bottom on the thinnest margins, the thinnest space that you could have on 16:9, the tops and the bottoms, and having a big strip across them. It seems to me it would make more sense to have something over here. And then when combat when you're out of the other thing, the advantage of that too, if you have something that slides out, for instance, is that it's clear to the player that they're in let's call it engagement, that they're presently being asked to do something as the player. And then when the game's back to, I'm going to show you what the enemies are doing or whatever, that thing slides away, and it's like watching a cutscene at that point. Something's happening, and then it slides back out to let you know, hey, it's time to keep going. And maybe something that takes up the left side here might be the way to do it. And then when you're gonna combat with something, they can be stacked on top of each other around here, like you and the enemy. And then any additional bits and bobs could be down here, maybe. It's Mario. If the Maine Coon or Norwegian forest cats, perhaps. Let's look up Norwegian forest cats. Really quick. It's a me. I'm waiting for my cease and desist. Maine Coon. Don't be porn. Yeah. This is pretty close to what they look like. Yeah, these are it. There's a big white one that we have in the area. But it's more like a grayish, like a dusty white. Yeah, these are it. These are them. How did it know? It's contextual. Bing somehow could infer that since I had searched the cat and now I'm searching Norwegian that it would say forest cat as a suggestion. That's pretty nice. Well, again, this kind of looks like these ones too. This is kind of what the one looks like. Yeah, this is a lot what it looks like. It's like more of a dusty color. All right. I know it seems like I'm not doing anything. I swear that I am, though. I'm thinking about. A little concerned about. See that bleeding? It's telling me that we're not quite 100% isometric. Oh, no. I know why that's happening. Okay. That's interesting. I wonder if it's true for... Yeah, because it's a little bit higher than the rest of the stuff. Okay. How's it going, Cobalt? Obsidian was here. I don't know if he's still here. Okay, well, for now, what we'll do is we're just going to say pass. And we're going to put a to-do here. Handle player selecting location non-movable location here. Okay, and now let's just make sure move, and we'll pick it, and nothing happens. But we can bring it up back up. So right now it's not really a bad thing. Oh yeah, I see that. It's going good. I've delved back into game dev. It's nice to dip my toes in again. I made some decent projects on my dungeon crawl game this weekend. Is this the one you had mentioned this a while ago, right? Is this the one you were talking about? I may be having a stroke, so if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, then then I'm having a stroke. Yeah, kind of a branch from it. Okay. I still think about the thing we made. I still think about it. Because I think we kind of made the system was interesting. I feel like the weird combination of like the clock tick movement of the enemies and like, you know, in this weird sort of action puzzler thing. Yeah. Because we never really got a good clean shot at it. I feel like we should use it for a jam game again. I'm beginning to think there's no need. There's no need for this stuff. What we could say is, since we're doing this, we could say if active ability, then we do this. And I suppose that's okay for now, but I don't like this because and we don't need the if statement on this one. It's only because we're calling action. How? Okay, here we go. So we'll go like this, and then like that. All right, that's better. And since I know the order really isn't that important, but I feel like. Did you guys hear that? I hope you guys did. I hope you guys didn't hear that. You might think less of me. I tooted. Okay, so that clears it out. Hanging in. Good to hear. I'm gearing up for that dungeon crawl jam that starts on April 1st. Getting my ducks all in a row. Dungeon crawl jam. What's this? What's this? Where's this at? Is this on itch? Say what? How the hell did this happen? What the hell? Nobody can find this. How did this sell happen? Hang on, I'm gonna send this to the wife. Don't open on stream. Oh God, don't get me doxxed. Well, I sold my first thing on itch, and it wasn't even something I made. It was something my wife made. That's funny. And it can't even find it. That's the part that, hang on, let me just see if we can find it now. It's awesome. I wonder, Bernard. Oh, there it is. It finally showed up. Huh. I'm looking at that jam now, Cobalt Games. I think I may have to join this jam. I've been wanting to make a game like this. Since you only capture a specific window in OBS and similar software, I wonder if there's a way to set it to not record a certain window instead. Is that a thing? That would be nice for streams. I agree. Well, there is window capture. And there is a thing that says make source visible. So I wonder if I uncheck that, create new, and then we choose, let me open up Telegram again. And then let me choose that from the list. Let me go back. Hang on a sec. Stop this. Go back over here. I only set window captures. Saint. Okay. Huh. All right. Window capture. And then we're going to choose. It doesn't see Telegram. That's weird. There it is. How about we choose Brave? I don't have any choices for... That's weird because this is saying window. Capture cursor. Nickname generators got me down a rabbit hole. I'm curious too. It's weird because when I set up window capture, it does say make source visible. But I think that's... I'm wondering if it's a more of a global thing. Let me do a Google search for this really quick. Or a Bing search. OBS make window invisible. Yep, that's slash. That's what I meant there. I also found it's possible in OBS to hide an OBS window using hide RMC options for. No, that's not. We don't want to hide it. It's not about OBS. It's about a window in OBS. No, I don't want to set. How to hide a window. Let me check. Okay, one last thing I'm going to check. I'm going to go back to Telegram. If it'll let me. Where is it? Telegram. Trying to see if I can tell a window to just be invisible to OBS. Just to keep myself from getting doxxed. Oops. I know there's like stream modes. Open Telegram. Telegram's like had an aneurysm. It doesn't it doesn't know what's going on right now. I don't know what you want from me. I can't find it. It's disappeared on me. Okay, whatever. You know, another approach might be to make sure to somehow in some sort of Windows setting, make sure like tell Windows to always open this thing on a certain desktop or something, if that's possible. I don't know. But I don't know how to do that. So thanks for the suggestion, nickname generator failed. I'm going to abbreviate it to NNGF. Let's go back to that jam. Game development challenge to make a first-person grid-based dungeon crawler game in just 7 days. Yeah, NGF is good. NNGF sounds like you're like you have a stutter. But then I realized that it means no girlfriend. and I felt sad. So now I'm just okay with Nick. Huh. This is a shortened vernacular that I'm not familiar with. The internet shorthand used to be about like positive things. Like, how can we abbreviate different ways of laughing as much as possible, right? And then somehow, or like woot and stuff like that. You know, it was like celebratory, GG. And now everything, all of this internet shorthand is just pure sadness. Like practically every new shorthand that I learned that I didn't know is something kind of depressing. Even like thinking about it, even like ASL was like basically, you know, chat shorthand for like, hey, maybe we could like imagine banging. And it's just like I don't know what I'm saying. Pretend like I didn't say that. We'll just erase that part. In this context, a dungeon crawler is a grid-based RPG viewed in first person with a 90-degree turning. Examples of classic dungeon crawlers are Dungeon Master, Eye of the Beholder, Pool of Radiance, and Bard's Tale. New for this game jam will have a theme. That's right. We are raising the bar. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this jam or the dungeon crawler genre, take a look at the previous jams and their entries. Let's go take a look real quick. A finished and reasonably polished dungeon crawler, not a prototype, proof of concept, or tech demo, but a small game you can play and finish from beginning to end. What can I say? Boop. All right, goodbye, Reddit. I thought last year's jam submissions. Here we go. Hedgerow. So there's that dungeon crawler where you make the map. That one's kind of interesting. How could you flip this on its head? You could do like a cube crawler game where you're dungeon crawling across like the outside of a cube. So it's kind of like a Rubik's, not necessarily like a Rubik's cube, but it's like you can only see chunks of the map because the map is the cube that rotates. I don't know. That seems stupid. Yeah, all I can think to do is something really funny. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Oh, my wife. Yeah, it just showed up in the texts. I was laughing. I was telling everybody it's pretty funny that the first time I've sold anything on Itch was something that you made. I didn't even make it. So that's kind of cool. That's my SO. All right, let's get back to work here. How can you not be Mr. Cricket Man? Because it's funny you mentioned that. Because I actually have this thing that I want to do with regards to exactly that. It's really an homage to Miss Pac-Man. I feel like it was her idea. I think I didn't tell her to do it. Maybe I did. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But I thought it would be funny because Kirby Kirby is gender. Kirby has no gender, right? But I thought it would be funny to make a fake announcement from Nintendo that Kirby's actually a girl, and that there's now a Mr. Kirby, and then do all the gender like little things that they do typically for like a female character, and but do it with Kirby. So it'd be like Mr. Kirby would have like a mustache and like some other element of it to be like, oh, that's the guy Kirby. It's Mr. Kirby because he has a mustache or something stupid like that. Like the equivalent of like, well, it's a girl. Let's put a bow in her hair. You know, that's Mr. Kirby. He looks a little more, Mr. Kirby looks a little more defeated, and like he's got like bags under his eyes and he's given up on the world. The light in his eyes is gone. What if Zelda was a girl? I still, from time to time, I will slip up on that. It was from when you were making YouTube. That's funny. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I am still thinking. I am kind of wrapping my head around. Like right now, this is fine. You know, we're not going to crash or anything like that. Let's fix the highlighting issue, and then we'll move on. Okay, so parent highlight actor. This is all kinds of wrong. This can move. This can. If actor, get actor at. Okay, so this can go away. This is all going away. Let's look at our menu system stuff here really quick, because I actually think this doesn't even exist anymore. Menu system. Here's highlight. So we still have highlight technically, but this is gonna move. So I suppose we could do that. We did have the HUD thing that we were gonna do, and that's what would be for this. Oh God, see, it's all UI. Man, I really want to start just kind of getting graph paper out and sketching out ideas. Would that be stupid? Would that be weird if I just pointed the camera down at my desk? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I got to go find some graph paper really quick, and I'm going to point the camera down at my desk. Enjoy the messy background. I'll set this up. It doesn't look as insane as the old room. And once it's brighter in here too, everything's blown out right now, like that, the thing, jukebox, and then the arcade cabinets are all blown out. Those will be less blown out soon, but not just yet. All right, I'll be right back. I'm back. Can you not be a Mr. Cricket? You need to make more. You have an audience. Yeah. I agree. How do you have a wife and arcade machines? I always thought those things were exclusive to each other. It's the wife who had the arcades, and that's how she got them. Yeah, she hooked me in. It was her bait. She's a I can't make that joke. We're not going to make that joke. Oh, I've got the wrong glasses on. How did I switch glasses when I left? I must have. All right, so let's see. I've got another camera, but it's kind of a crappy webcam. I have that other one. So I could just set that one up and point it down at the desk. Maybe that's what I should do. Thank you. I am welcome back. Just think about it. Doesn't look like there's any windows there, does it? No, she feeds me. She'll throw me some food down occasionally from the grate that's like up there. But otherwise I just have to keep working. I don't even know what happened to that camera. I did all that streaming and then I wrapped it up and was done with it. Let's see. So we've got a tripod. I could just put that right here. And then let's see. It would just point straight down. Yeah, this would be fine. Okay. So let me I don't know where the other camera went. I have no idea what happened to it. How could I have lost it? I'm so organized. I'm immaculately. I have everything exactly where I would expect it to be. I didn't just melt down yesterday because I couldn't find the plug for my monitor and thought that I wouldn't be able to stream today. That didn't happen because I'm too organized. Ah, here it is. Okay. Alright, so there's this, and here's the power cable. Only problem with this plan is I'm gonna have to use OBS. All right, that'll be fine. Okay, so we'll get this mounted. Got to tell them the end of that story. So the end of that story. So I'm flipping out. I had the monitor mounted, and I'm like, I can't find the cable. It must have, like, I moved everything to the desk. Here's what I said. I moved everything to the desk so this wouldn't happen. I don't understand, like, how could it have gotten lost? It must have gotten moved around when we were organizing the rest of the boxes and everything. And I was losing my poop. And then I come back to the desk. And because all cables are black and they're all the same color, it was right there the whole time. It was just like it was camouflaged with everything else. It was there the whole time. I get sad about weird things. like I just today I just realized we both got new phones at the same time, and I thought I had set my wife's phone up to record in 4K, and so we've had these phones for oh my god, almost 5 years. Is that right? No, 4 years. Anyways, and she's been recording in 1080 this whole time, and I was crushed. I was like, no, all those memories are half that they're one they're one third the pixels. Oh no. They're not the memories are not as complete. They're one third of what they could have been complete. All right, almost all set. I just have to plug this into my where is the HDMI out? But the F in stands for fool. Where is? Oh, it's over here. Here we go. This old camcorder has a full regular size HDMI plug, and I love it so much. Thank you, camera. Now we'll point it down, and all I have to do, I gotta track down. It's down here somewhere. OBS. But I do have I admit that I do have a problem with like I get these small excitement bursts, and I look forward to little things, and then when they don't work out, you'd think that, you know, being on Earth for 40 plus years would teach you to just be okay with like something not working out. And still, those small little joys, when they get taken away from just life, you know, just things that would happen normally, that continuously happen, just being alive, and the way that, uh you know that what's that quote? All right, have a good night, nickname. uh it's just a small joys, all good plans, right? Like right now, I'm about to find out that I'm not going to be able to find the capture card, so I've wasted some time, which is going to be a bummer. Okay, let me think about this. It's probably on this shelf here. Let's get all of this stuff moved. Let me get my light on my phone. what we'll do. New plan. Yeah, my wife and I will start doing. We're gonna. I don't know. Well, if we ever have time, we'll do like some sort of gaming stream thing together. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this crappy webcam on my face since that'll be the smaller camera of the shot, and then we'll put the other one on the drawing itself. How's that for compromise? Okay. All set. And then we're gonna let's turn off this and we'll make a new scene, call it drawing. Drawing. Video capture device. We've already got one called desk cam. That should be it. Add existing. No. Lies. Don't believe his lies. Alright, there's me. This is going to be the small thing. Look at the color. It's all different. That's fine. Whoa. So we'll put me in the corner. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight. All right. And then we're going to say desk cam. So window video capture device. And this will be camera. Zoom and enhance. And let's make sure the filter is scale filtering. We're going to do arena. And we'll put this one on top. And then we'll add the chat. And chat. What is it? Browser? Sometimes I wish you could add things by name instead of having to remember what element they actually were before. And then desk cam. Only other thing I want to do really quick is try to get that white balance to not be so completely wrong. I look like I'm not doing too well. That's close enough. Okay. That's pretty close to reality. And other camera. Let's point you down at my crotch. Crotch cam. Crotch cam. Patent pending. Every streamer needs a crotch cam. Let's pick her up, move her. So, crotch cam, and then zoom, zoom, and enhance. Paper cam, activate. Now we need to flip it over. So we're gonna transform and Rotate 180. Oh, wrong camera. Oh no. Okay. Yes, this is how I see things. All right. We're all set. So, let's see here. Now is this you guys are okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So for 16 by 9, I don't have a ruler. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 5 4 there's 9 5 oh that's 4 and then 4. Okay. So there's here's like 16 by 9 or 6 and then 16 is 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 5 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 16 1 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 6 6. Okay, so down we go. Okay, so York, I can count good. Yeah. Okay. So, if we were to partition a square space on a 16 by 9, we're looking at so 9 across again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we've doubled it. So there's 5. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, so if we were to partition and we have square space out for the map and everything here, let me get this over for you guys. How about I move the camera over so that I can work the way I want to. There we go. All right, so this area here would represent our like quote unquote like HUD, so to speak. And then over here would be our battlefield, so you would see your typical like combat area thing. Like this. I don't know. So, and then there'd be dudes on the field. So little happy faces all over. Hey. Hi. I'm on the field. Hello. My daughter draws better than I do when it comes to figures. What are we doing? He said to do it. All right, so then over here on our combat screen, if we're let's say we have somebody selected, we've got a portrait. Call your daughter out to help because this is embarrassing. All right, so we got our little portrait here. And then we're going to split that like this, something fierce. And then there'll be like stats all across here. And then maybe like symbols of like something, right? So this is one guy. And then me withdrawing and counting to 5. All right. And then we need some sort of like combat, some sort of symbol to indicate that over here, another 4. And let's say there's a guy over here. He's the bad guy, so he's frowny. I'm the bad guy. And then we've got a portrait here. So this is happy guy. Hey. And this is bad guy. And stats. So would this be confusing if the stats were like that? I don't know. Now, uh-oh, what is this? Do I go to it? So they're chatting. I can only count to 4. Oh, no, no. I can count more than that. I gotta hear this. York, I see a problem there, mister. Tell me about it. Oh, it's only good. Sorry, I gotta stop this. You guys can't even see the video. God, that's so funny. The tone in paper changes with the semaphore. I assume you're not doing multi-threading. What do you mean? I don't follow. So you're saying if you put the main scene on the right, the player's neck will hurt after some time as he always watches the right. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of these kinds of games... Okay, so here's another way to do it. If we split the left block up so the main scene is in the middle. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. After doing this, so I'm just gonna cheat since I can't count. I can only count to 4. I'm just trying to figure out like a good way to do this. Yeah, because it's like I'm working on this stuff right now and I'm writing all this code for stuff, but it's also like what is this actually looking like? So I'm gonna move this over here. And can I just cheat and put this up on the monitor so I can trace it? Can I trace dish? Is that it right, Josh? Where is it? I feel like an animator, and this is like an onion. Just like Disney. Oh my goodness. Okay. Watch, I find out that the grid paper is literally 16 by 9. So down the middle, I agree. So let's see. If we did stat windows on both sides, then we're going to scale the 16 by 9 down in the middle of the screen. If we did something like that, you know what we could do is a viewport for the battlefield that's at a 16 by 9 ratio, and then we can scale that viewport up and down as we like show the stats when it's the player's turn and we're showing the stats on the two sides. Then if we also have some sort of I don't know, something, we could potentially scale the battlefield, although that might be weird. But it's something we could do. So let's say we just give ourselves 5. 16 by 9. If we want to do 8 is too high. If we were to cut it down the middle, 4 is probably too thin. So 16, 9, 3 would give us 6 since we've doubled our size here. That's decent. So if we were 6 on this side and 6 on this side, that would be, out of our ratio, we would be swallowing up 6 whole on the 16 for the 16 by 9. Anything wrong with full screen plus overlays? No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to think about, like, okay, I'm not saying that I want it to take, like, what I want to make sure that I give is that if the HUD stuff is slightly transparent or like elements are there but they're taking up part of the screen, then I'm trying to think about weighing it, because the traditional, what I've seen with old there's a lot of old I guess design tropes in the tactical games that I've seen, the ones that I've played that are like this, where the battle system information, there's usually an enemy on one side of the screen. If it's not split across on the bottom, and there's like a portrait here and a portrait here, and then a bunch of stat information here, and then suddenly your actual screen real estate shrinks down like that, and now you're dealing with this like ultra wide viewing area. Or they'll eat up some space here, like this portrait here, and then this one down here, and then you end up with this weird kind of I don't even know what to call it. But if and I'm trying to think about like the cursor highlighting a block, and instead of, on a lot of these games, when you select top left and the target on the bottom right, it's overlays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There would be the portrait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can count. There's the other portrait. So you're saying something like this, where there's a portrait here and there's a portrait here as overlays? Because this is what I see typically, where they go like this, and then they split it out like this. And then the stat information for the enemy is here in this space. But then it sort of like slices. When you think about the viewable space for the player, it's like this now, right? Which is like kind of weird. I mean, we are dealing with isometric, so there are parallel lines going in one way. But I feel like if we do it more like this, where the viewable space becomes something closer to this, you know, okay, now I know it's unconventional or not traditional, like attack, right? The other thing that I was thinking about is if we were to scale the viewable space into a 16 by 9 ratio in this window, then the other thing we might be able to do, like if we were to keep the enemy on this side up here like this, and um, and then we did something like, if we're trying to keep the player's eyes, this will be just portraits. So the player's eyes will be down here more when they're looking at stat information. But for instance, when they're moving the cursor around, there may be. So one of the things I was talking about was that when you're moving the cursor around and you select a space that you can't actually move to when you're going to move the character, it'll give you some sort of stat information about that location, right? But it's like, okay, well, you're already moving the cursor around, and we already have this behavior that I'm going to do where when you move the cursor over an enemy, that enemy is going to be highlighted as a portrait on this end. It'll give us stat information and stuff about that enemy on the side here. But then it's like, well, why do I have to select this block here to know anything about it? If it's going to give me something about it, like that it has, like it's swampland or it's grassland or something, like if we're having these things that can cause like elemental stuff or whatever. So like if we displayed some kind of like like some sort of iconography or something where we just display some stat information on the bottom here, we could do that. Then the command in the middle, like attack or versus. You can always add a stupid bar at the bottom later on. There's always something to put on the screen that needs to be, that no one needs or ever recognizes. That's what I'm trying to reduce. Like you could make a turn showing a bar at the top or the bottom. I guess there's no reason why I couldn't show the stat information next to the cursor in the first place. Like when you highlight something, it's a space, and maybe you're going to move to it, maybe you're not. But once you stop moving the cursor, then some little tidbit of information could appear next to it as like info. And since we're going to simplify combat a bunch anyways, another way we could do this I'm having an idea. Is this weird that I'm just staring at a paper with a couple of lines but I'm like, is this is this game dev? York, making an MMO with some roguelike elements with focus on jump and run. Or is that a question for me, or is that something that you're doing? So, you said what that should be. So that what that should be. I'm not sure I follow. No, this is tactical RPG. Not MMO. Confusion on premium level. No, I was talking about status effects and things like that. Well, it's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. What I'm trying to think about is like what are the core things, like thinking about it more and more, and I've been talking with my buddy about this when we're brainstorming. Oh no, I'm not, and I don't care. Like I'm not that's not what I'm thinking about. Full stop. It's just a lot of these games, a lot of the tactical RPGs. I don't want to look at references because they all do the same damn things, which is everything is like layers of menu. And I'm trying to strip a lot of that away as much as possible. And some of that can be done by showing things without having to go layers deep. And then some of it can be exposing things that in a way that it's not typical. One of the things that just popped in my head when I was saying I had an idea, was to take whoever the active player is to essentially. So if we have a player on the screen, I can't switch him back and forth very easily here, but if we had a player on the screen like here, so here's our player, we could show their stats right next to them. There's some problems with this idea though, because if they need to interact with something behind that, this is why I'm so concerned about where we put other things. Uh-oh, something's happening. What's going on? Something happened. Oh, thank you for the raid. Sean. Thank you. How is your day going? Let me get my activity feed up so I can actually see this. Right now, I'm driving chat crazy by doing this stupid drawing thing that I'm working on right now. Give me a second. I can't get it in the corner. There we go. Let me go back to where I was. Which one is it? Desk cam. Oh, I'm upside down. Oh, no. There we go. I'm out. See you, York. I do have. There are shout outs. Shout out. Give me a second. I'll. No, I don't want to ban. Yeah. And then I shouted out the wrong person. Give me a second. Hello, decent. How's it going? Let's see. Dashboard. There is a shout out command. Is it / shout out? That's like the new way to do it. Hella. Let's give Sean a shout out. If it'll let me. Do I have to do the ampersand? Is it going to do it? This is embarrassing. There we go. I think I did the shout out. Let me know if I did it right. How am I not following? I am following. Why is it telling me to join everybody and following Sean when I'm not? Sorry. All right, let me get back to what I was doing. He deserves it. I haven't been procrastinating, but I'm thinking about I'm trying to think about it's kind of procrastination in that I'm trying to think about how to design some UI stuff so that I don't have to build more stuff necessarily in code. So, yeah. Only we're only on the second one. So the reason why we can't do a little stat panel here with our character's portrait, hello, I'm smiling, and then the stats, is that we would have to do some sort of magic with where we were showing it, because if there was another enemy or something behind that information, we wouldn't want that stat window to be over that. So no joy with the idea of a little floater. A little floater necessarily like that. However, I don't know. I mean, another possibility is to show the stats just right next to the player. And then when we move the cursor over another player, another, like an NPC, and so the cursor, let's say the NPC is right here and the cursor is right here, and our active player has a little bit of stat window next to it that's a little dynamic. If there happens to be an enemy next to it, then it flips its side. If there's enemies on both sides, then it moves away from the cursor. So if the cursor is on one side of it, then it's over on this side. And then that way, if, long story short, so then we put the cursor over an enemy, and then that enemy's stat information shows up right next to the enemy. Why not? And then we get rid of all this bullshit of all this stat junk and giant portraits and all this stuff showing up over on the sides, and we're left with the battlefield more. I can't think of a reason why that wouldn't be desirable. And the stat block could be pretty dynamic too. We could make it kind of float around a little bit more where it needs to, with a little chevron that points to. You can also make the info clickable to pop up a more detailed view portrait. Yeah. Well, and then you could do bumpers, right? So you could do something with the controller bumpers where you're, if you highlight an enemy and then you joggle the bumpers, you could go back and forth between yourself and the enemy. Here's the other thing that you can do with this that I haven't ever seen in these kinds of games. If you're doing an AoE, right? So you're doing something that's more than one enemy. So now the cursor is actually, you're doing some sort of AoE attack, and then you have a bunch of enemies in that area. Now you could show relevant information about them. This might be Hellscape though, where trying to show these stat windows in a way where they're not stepping on each other really doesn't work out. But there really is no reason why, even if there was a bunch, that you can't sort of kind of float them around a bit and then have some sort of, like I said, some sort of chevron, like a speech bubble would point in a cartoon, how a speech bubble will point back to the person speaking. It would look more like the stats are kind of like a speech bubble kind of thing, so that if we need to move them around, because we're showing a couple of them, then they float around a bit more. But if we have too many enemies in a single area and we're doing like 100 of those, yeah, I mean, that's another possibility. And I mean, this is the other thing, is I'm heavily simplifying, like we're reducing, so we're doing a Final Fantasy Tactics inspired game, but we're looking at reducing a lot of things. So we're actually very much considering completely dropping the idea of the RPG leveling system altogether. So where the HP stats in something like Tactics is like 1,478, for one character, and 674 for another. This would be more like they're like hearts containers in Zelda, so that it's like, well, this guy's HP is 4 hearts, and I was AFK. It's an art stream now. This guy's 4 hearts, right? So then it becomes a little more chess like, and yeah, a lot more like Into the Breach. The more you strip away the RPG elements, the more you get closer to something like Into the Breach. Which isn't a bad thing. My art is beautiful, isn't it? As kaiju chess, right? And the thing that Into the Breach I think everybody's joking with everybody and nobody realizes that's what's happening. This is like two people that let me see if I can get my desk camera to be a little less bright. Uncheck. And we'll go down. There we go. Low light compensation. Let's turn that off. Okay, this looks more true to life. Ooh. UX is a nightmare. That's what I'm trying to get away from the UX. Okay, so one of the things we were talking about with the idea of getting rid of the leveling stuff and all those the RPG mechanics as far as like gaining XP and like removing HP XP. So specifically removing XP, right? So RPG leveling gone, XP gone. HP not necessarily in the sense that it's now closer to integers, where you could imagine the HP bars in other, like it's small, no greater than a single unit integer. So like HP is no greater than 9 or something, right? So so your HP numbers stay in the single digits. Let's pretend we put a cap on that. Same with MP. So then we can focus more on gear and things like that, tying into other aspects of it. Just be a bar. Yeah, like Paper Mario. This is ironic because when I run my game, I've got Paper Mario in there. Let me switch over to our other thing here, and let's get the Paper Mario. I need some refresher here on Paper Mario. Is there a specific one of my favorite, let's see. There's a lot of bad Paper Marios. Let's go Paper Mario 64. The first one. I can type. You like how I don't use home row? Yeah. Yeah, small numbers. There's more than one Paper Mario. There's a million Paper Marios now. Yep. 1,000 Year Door. That's a good one. The first one's good. 1,000 Year Door is good. Color Splash is crap. Super Paper Mario's not as good either. Let's see screens. Yeah, small numbers. Yeah, I would say as a rule of thumb, if we start, we could cap it at 9 HP. No, never going into the tens maybe. Just as like a trying to get the balance right. Mudbound, how's it going? All right, let's go back to our drawing cam. Oh, I'm upside down. This is my Australia cam. So this is for people in Australia so they can see me properly. It's very inclusive. Not at all offensive. Okay. I like this idea. I like the idea of showing a mini HUD next to the enemies when they're being highlighted. And maybe you could hit select and it would show all the mini HUDs for all the enemies at the same time. And then when you've selected an AoE over an area, those little attributes about them, their little stats, their little MPs and HPs and all that show up in a visible way in that space. Are we looking at bowling pins here? Yeah, that's my character art. It's just how represent a human form as quickly as possible. I like this. I like tortoise. Okay, I like this idea. So we're ditching RPG leveling. Well, they're not going to look like this. They're going to look like paper dolls. So if I show you French paper dolls. So this is, let me show you, how do I go? Why is my internet slow as molasses right now? Is the stream okay? The stream's fine. My downstream is awful. So we're gonna look something more like, good Lord. Maybe it's Bing. So maybe something like this, not as detailed. But they'll be flat characters like Paper Mario, but they'll look like paper dolls. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So but we're inspired by the French Revolution, and during that time period, paper dolls were really starting to kind of be a thing. They were like fashionable. So I think it sort of like works as an homage. But we're going to have to strip out a lot of detail that would normally be seen in these things in order for it to read properly with how far out the camera is going to be from everything else. Mudbound. Let me give a shout out to Mudbound. Hey, Hella Decent. Are you still there? Can you give a shout out to Mudbound? Mud is working on a Pico 8 game. And let me do shout out. I feel like a radio disc jockey. Shout out. Oh yeah, nice. Thank you. Yeah. Mudbound's working on a Pico 8 tactical game as well. It's a drone combat game. He's been working on it for like 2 years, and it's really amazing. He's at the threshold of, he's always at the limit when it comes to how much you can fit onto a single, virtual Pico 8 cartridge. And his streams are always really good. The tunes he plays on his streams are good as well. He's got like C64 soundtrack that's just always pumping. As opposed to my weirdly silent silent streams. Anyways, let's go back to Deskcam. Ah. Okay. I think this is good. Okay, but this doesn't solve this. The only thing this doesn't solve is man. It was. What are you talking about? I would say it's more consistent. Like, you can draw out, like on the SNES and in the Genesis, it's really hit or miss. Like, you really had to know the chip way more. Like the SNES had that Sony chip, and then the Genesis was like a Yamaha or something, right? I can't remember, but they both like varied in quality of their soundtracks because of like you just really had to know how to finesse it. Otherwise, you would just make just pure nonsense. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
One's done.
How much did it cost?
I'd have to like add it all up and divide it.
Okay.
Because there's 5 lights. It is enough to make 5, except I don't think there's enough cord to make 5 because I didn't know how much it was going to take. But I'll get it.
Did you understand my trick that I was talking about?
Not at all.
So the next time you pull out a bunch of yarn, and actually you could unthread all that and then measure it that way. But the next time you pull out a bunch of yarn, fold it into every like 24 inches or something. You could use the yardstick. So make it into loops that are 24 inches wide. And then that way you can measure how much you actually got. And just write that number down and do it. And if it's short, then you know you need to do more. Right? And you just keep increasing that number until you've got over what you need. And then when you cut what you've gone over, you subtract that, and you have roughly how much you would need for... Does that make sense? Yeah? All right. It made sense to you?
So, you think it looks nice?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Okay. So, I'll just put it in the classroom. You can hang it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think 2 or 3 for the classroom?
I mean, 2 at minimum. So, it's beautiful. I love it. And the rest are going to be in the house?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I might do something different. I don't know. We'll see. Depending on how much stuff I have left.
La Mulana animated the bosses that way, Sean says. Everyone's getting in on the art stream. Yeah, my son. There's some incredible C64 wrapped around a Yamaha as a console. Cobalt's throwing some shade at me. All right, so this frees up our space here. And I was talking about if landforms cause, like, that there are stats or some details about landforms that you need to understand. And I figure what we could do is when you have the cursor over a block, there's like a little tiny inspector block concept thing that's just like a blown up version of an icon of, because you're gonna have like different textures for like earth pieces, so you'll have multiple kinds of textures for grass or swamp or rock or whatever. But wherever your cursor is, over in the corner down here, we can have just some minor like info window that'll tell you what it is, like grassland or something, and then it's some sort of stat plus whatever, some sort of little mini stat window. And then we don't need that for necessarily for when our cursor is highlighted over enemies. We could maybe, if we felt like it, like for instance, we're doing an AoE, then on a single enemy, when we have the cursor highlighted over a single enemy, we could still do our little mini portraits up in the corner here of the player. And then if they happen to be doing an AoE, for instance, we could stack, we could make a group portrait, basically group together who is going to be included in that attack, or something like that. And then we keep the stats stuff here so that our player, their eye stays here and they're not constantly looking at menus or stat windows all over everywhere. There's also probably a way where we could actually signify the terrain block as well, just over the cursor itself. But that would get confused with when we have it underneath an enemy. So I think something that shows the block somewhere else makes sense. So it's weird the turn that I'm taking, because I was trying to just get not the same pop-up that's describing the enemies. No, if we were, and I'm saying if we were to show portraits, which I don't really know necessarily that we need to. The other possibility is to simply when this I refer to all players on the field, all NPCs and PCs on the field as actors. If this is our actor, our current playable character, we could just portraitize them when it's their turn. And we could just supplement the idea of a portrait by taking away the sprite that is the full body character and doing the portrait. But then part of me is like, well, then why don't you just make everyone a portrait on the field and just get rid of this whole like marching thing, and then you're moving more towards chess. Anyways, I don't know. Back with hot chocolate. I could go for hot chocolate. I'm more of a cider guy myself, actually. Hot cider. So the only other thing that I was thinking about doing, I'm split, but the only other thing I was going to mention is I have this idea. Again, I haven't seen it represented this way. I've seen a few tactical RPGs have something like a timeline, but they don't, like, I feel like they don't do it in a way where I don't know, that it's wholly like helpful or readable. Like in original Final Fantasy Tactics, it really sucked when you wanted to bring up the turn order. You had to hit select or something like that, and you just got a list of names, and there was no way to, like, you had to go back and forth between that list and the battlefield to associate who that person who was that in the list. I don't recall that you could like select it and have it highlight them, but maybe you could. I can't recall that. But let's say you have some sort of like charged attack. If you represent time as a Gantt chart, where you have a flexible Gantt chart that just creates and removes on the Miro on the Miro. Yeah, so you have this flexible Gantt chart that just anytime there's a charge attack, the Gantt shows up. And then normally on the timeline, you just have a portrait of whose turn is coming up on clock ticks, right? And then that way you know when the when that thing is going to fire, if it's going to fire before or after someone's turn order. Then the other thing you could represent inside the Gantt itself is who is affected by that. So you could stack the portraits again over here. If every character on the battlefield has a unique look, then you could easily at a glance look at, here's a timed attack that's going to happen, and then this shows who's in that space. Then if you happen to move out of that space before the attack happens, then that character portrait would go away. Octopath does something like this, I think. Let me take a look at it. All right, hella decent. Let me open that up here in a second. I actually need to install that on this machine. So there's something like this. Yeah, it's all stacked for turn orders. So Octopath doesn't have the problem that we have, which is that is there like charge attacks in Octopath? Because we would be dealing with attacks that would take a certain number of clock ticks in the game before they fire, which is why I was thinking about representing it with some sort of Gantt. When you hover over an enemy, all instances of it in the timeline get highlighted. Okay, that's useful. Enemies will take a turn to be charging, but while charging, they visually have an effect around them. Okay. Here's the other thing. Since I'm thinking about simplifying things so much, the other thing that I was thinking about is that I think we can test battles by just doing it with paper to start with, to see like, is this even something that can work or not? So if we use dice rolls and paper, we can kind of test some systems and ideas and without having to program anything, and just figure out like, does this work? So one turn they start charging and now they're glowing with darkness, so the next time they have a turn that unleash the chat. Yeah, unleash with that. I gotcha. And enemies that stagger attacks every other turn are conveyed easily with the timeline because it shows 2 turns. I see. You see what's up next. That was the other thing about tactics that was weird, was the turn order wasn't, because of how speed worked in tactics, you could step over someone's turn over time, which was like kind of a weird thing to wrap your head around. At least for me, it was odd. But if you think about someone's turn as being 5 blocks, and then someone else's turn as being 4.5, and then whenever it like folds over, that's when the other guy gets to leap on him, kind of thing. Hang on a sec, I got a private message I have to check. Is this boring? Is this I just want to make sure that I'm not spinning my wheels developing something that I rip out anyways. So I just want to be real hesitant about that. The turnover overtake thing. Yeah, it's just it makes sense. It's just yeah, the turn order bar is perfect for conveying that. You can slide the characters back and forth as time progresses. Right. It's I guess the reason why I have like problems with it is that it doesn't convey to the player why sometimes somebody gets to go again earlier than the other one. Sliding off the end wraps them around, showing they've just snuck an extra turn in. Okay. And I suppose the Gantt concept that I'm talking about here would actually look more like this. Like whoever fired off a charge attack first would be on top. And then the next one would look something like that. And then I guess the owner of the attack would be on the other side of it. And then who it's affecting would be over here. Right. If we simplify that too, if everything is whole numbers, right, plus these pair of boots gives you +1 speed or something, that's way easier to understand than your turn is 10% more of whatever this number is that came originally from your CT stat at the start of your character's creation, plus this other thing, and then you know, and it's just like, ugh. Wouldn't bars make it easiest to see? The smaller bar would be slowly happening earlier and earlier in the other allies bar, and eventually it would happen ahead of it, so they'd go twice. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to do with the Gantt chart idea is represent not necessarily just turn order when a charge attack fires, which is separate from turn order. So the turn order concept I like, what you guys were talking about, and maybe the Gantt shows up here on the top, not at the bottom. But I like the idea that it would be wherever we show this additional information, like this iconography for the tile itself that the cursor is on. So wherever everything is, it's shared on the same strip somewhere, and it's more consistent. Right. Well, and you kind of need it to be halves in order to have that whole thing happen that I was describing. It's rough, but it's a start. Let me check it out. I might need to sign in. Yeah, I'm missing a button. And my keyboard needs some cleaning. Let me see if I have it installed, Myra. I do. Oh my gosh. Is it going to ask me to sign in? I haven't opened it in a while. Yep. And this is not on stream, right? Oh my god, I don't want to type my password with the camera showing. Hang on a second. I'm going to have to put this over here. We're going to have to change. There we go. Okay, give me a second. All right, we're still showing the keyboard. Let me here. Go away. Let's see. Monitor. This is the camera. There we go. Okay. Now I can type in safety. All right. Do you have a thing to send me? A link? Or is it in hexacore? Ah, here we go. Yeah. How do I drag the field? There we go. Right click. All right. Yeah, and this is actually the OG tactics is a 4x3. So a lot of the UI elements in the War of the Lions remaster just kept the framing of 4x3 for the UI, so they didn't have to rework anything. And then this additional stuff, this is from the mobile version of the game. So this kind of thing is mobile stuff. All this stuff here. This is not traditional on the console. The console one looks more like this. So you don't see these extra additional buttons. You can also use fractions, decimals, percents behind the scene as long as it's abstracted. For example, changing length, even though there's no units on the bar. Right. These are all good. These are all really well, like, I appreciate this input for sure. I'm going to put my camera back on just so I don't forget. Sorry, it's not showing me right now. So, do you like my old Apple II? This is this mouse pad here. It's a little dirty. This is embarrassing. This is an old Apple II mouse pad. I have one with the Apple logo on it and everything like that, but I need to. It's a little needs a bath. But I love these old school like these old school mouse pads were so good. Just select that template and copy and paste it. Select. Do I just right click it? Long press to unlock. Did I do it? Copy. Paste. Nope. Oh, it's upside down here. Sorry. I don't want to futz with it too much. Let me see if I change it here, it's going to mess things. If I change this to yeah, it won't once I switch back to the other scene. It shouldn't matter. Oh, there we go. Okay. How does... Oh, okay. So we need... Thanks. Is there an easy way to do isometric in here? I'm guessing... I mean, we got these, so we could do... Thanks, Juice. How do I don't know how to do anything. There we go. Okay. If I... No. Do I hold down control or something to do, to snap it in size? There we go. All right. So we'll say this is our isometric view, which it really is not the best representation of it. But let's say it takes up some space. And this doesn't look 16:9. It looks like it was based off of like a cell phone monitor. So this is definitely a little wider than your 16:9 typical thing. Is there GANT built in? Because then we could just cheat. No. Is it two? It's like that. Or is it two T's? I can't remember. I think it's two T's. So if we're going to represent the GANT, and how do you do colors and whatnot? I don't know. No, that's... Okay, here we go. Fills. Can we do fills and stuff? Is it here? Copy style. Click the item. Border opacity and color. So this is for the border. Opacity. Here we go. Okay. Let me use some circles to represent figures. Okay, fill color. We'll go green for good. And can I group this together? Is there a reason it would need to be bars? So the bars specifically represent charged attacks. So it's a way of representing. It's a button next to the lock. Okay. It would be a way to represent the attacks that happen over time. So if we have something, would a pie or a wheel work as well as a bar? It could. The reason why I want to do the bar is to represent. So let's say, okay, here's what we'll do. Let's move these guys down. So let's say we kept the idea of what Exister had shown us with the timeline for turn order specifically. It could just be done with a line between the icons. Except that I suppose we could. You could, yeah. So you could have your turn order like up here and then some sort of tick mark. I want at a glance, I want the player to be able to know who's going to be affected by the attack, the charge thing. That's why I like the idea of a Gantt, because you can throw the portrait of that character that happens to be. So, for instance, if we have a Gantt that starts right here, then we know it started from this player, and that whoever's contained inside of it would be affected by whatever the thing is. And we know that it's going to fire. I guess we could weigh them over on the right-hand side so that it's clear that this is happening over here. Then we have a bunch of other players' turn orders. And then let's say another one does another sort of timed thing. Is there a way to represent this like this? Or like you're saying, like a line or some sort of thing pointing, and then we could just show a group of who's affected. Here's a wonderful mock-up. All right. It's beautiful. This is gorgeous. All right, so you're saying here's our dudes, our characters' turn order, right? So what is this is when so walk me through this. This changes everything. Let me see if I can get the camera thing worked out here. There's me. Okay. For now, we're just going to move me in the corner. Each color and shape is a different character. One row per character. So in this example, it would be circle, triangle, square, charge, circle, triangle. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I like this. Okay. So this is. So again, though, the one thing I want the player to see at a glance, the reason why I want this Gantt concept is it's not always going to be here. If there's no charge attack coming, then this goes away, right? There's no Gantt to show. So no charges, no Gantt. There's something being charged, we show the Gantt. So it's something that comes and goes based on if there's a charge attack happening. Otherwise, we just keep the timeline the same. And this just stacks so that if there's another charge attack, we just see it somehow like below. I can't think of another way to do this more clearly. I see what you're doing here. Right. So with your idea, what I could see happening is that we combine the circle and the triangle stuff back up, and then this square block would be back up here too. And then only when here's another idea. Okay, based off of what you did. Hang on. I got it. This is beautiful. This is why this is great. Okay, combining. Oh my God, Australia. Okay, hello. All right, so I'm going to draw it just because I can draw quicker than I can try to figure out how to use Miro. But I'm going to probably prototype the design. I like how easy it is to move stuff around in Miro. Okay, so here's the idea. Here's an idea that just popped in my head. Okay, so I like the idea of just using those icons too, the circle and all that stuff, just to make it easy. So circle, square. So let's say we've got a turn order here, and then one of them breaks the order. So circle gets to go again, and then square, and then triangle, and then circle. So let's say that's the turn order, right?
Could you hold him for a minute while I get some?
Yeah. You want to be on stream, Odie? Say hi to everybody. Want to go say hi? Want to go say hi? There's a baby over there. See the baby? That's you. See? Want to say hi to everyone? I see Mama. I see her. And I see the lights and the fan. You see the fan? And the bicycle? Yeah? Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to give me a hug? Do you want me to come in? Do you want me to come in the house? I got to show these guys really quick what I was thinking. I'll show them really quick, okay? Okay. Okay, so not thinking about what happens to turn orders directly. Just saying, let's say this is the turn order, right? Okay? So he's about to end your whole career. All right, guys, I'm going to put on some new noobs on COD. I got a new Razer keyboard, and we're sponsored by Monster. All right. So let's say we need some sort of delineation for the past if we're going to show a charge attack. Yeah, we don't really need to. Yeah, I don't know any other way to do this. So let's say there's some past turns and there's a charge attack from square. And then we just show when it's going to fire. And then if it affects anyone, we can show it in the line here. So if it affects triangle, then we could show triangle or something like that. So then we know that his turn is up here, and that's when. But here's the other thing about charge attacks is they can actually happen anytime before the player's turn is available. You could just have that line coming from nowhere. I agree. But I also I want the player to know who's doing the charge attack. So if they think they can annihilate the character before that attack happens, then the player at a glance can go, okay, if I go to that guy and get rid of him, if I have my 3 guys go and get rid of that guy, he's never even going to fire that thing off because our turns will happen before his if we make successful attacks or whatever, right? Right. That's why I wanted to stick with the Gantt idea. The reason why I like the Gantt idea is because it can come and go and it can stack on top of you can see it as a stack, and then it's flexible for if there's many. But I do feel like there's a way of cracking this nut that doesn't overwhelm the player too much. So we're talking turn-based. So when you select to do something that takes time, you know that it's going to take a X amount of time, and there's turns that are happening before it, and so the charge attack can fire. It could take the charge attack can take your turn up, for instance. So let's say your turn order is every 5 steps or every 5 clock ticks, right? But your charge attack is 10. Well, you're now out of the turn order because you're charging up a thing, and so that character can't do anything until the charge is up and it fires. And then the other thing is even if the charge attack happens, that post charge attack, when your turn comes up, is also not necessarily right after the charge attack occurs. Yeah. It's okay if you did. I'm doing a hell of poor job explaining this. So it's no worries if it's confusing because I'm not being very clear. Yeah, it's funny how much this derailed everything too. But it's something that I'm floating around with, the idea of maybe representing this concept in a Gantt or something like it. I need to look up. What I'm going to start doing is research on charts and displaying information. And there's the beautiful data stuff, right? There's like those guys that make data really interesting and stuff. And maybe if I kind of fish around, except that for all the other turns happening, it's important to know whose character, like if someone's working on a charge attack, it would be useful to the player to know who that person is, who it's going to affect, and when it's going to occur, so that they could. And the other thing about the Gantt chart idea is that it can be at a glance. So it can be something that you can pop up. We could have it pop up and go away, like something that slides up or down. except you can't see in the turn order. This is the problem with these games. Let me you can't tell who it's going to affect and when it's going to affect, because again, the charge attack can happen regardless of the turn order. Same principle, but easier to read. So an example of a charge attack would be something like an archer firing a shot, or some sort of mage like casting a spell. But the thing about the charge attacks is the resolution of a charge attack and when that character's turn happens are two different things. So the charge attack could resolve until they're on deck. I do like the idea of saying on deck made me think of something. I'm going to make a note for myself real quick. I really appreciate your help too, Hella Decent. How do I get over to the other? I don't know the keyboard shortcuts to anything when the keyboard's up high. I've forgotten everything. I don't remember anything anymore. That's why I'm saying the Gant. Exit exist ringer. That's why I'm saying a Gant. So that's the whole point of the Gantt chart. So I'm thinking the character turn order timeline is one thing. The Gantt chart is just like if there's a charged attack, then we stack a Gantt. And so the Gantt represents the charge attack timeline, not the turn order timeline. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in that case, because it could be a growing thing, and the thing is the charge attacks aren't gonna. It's not gonna be like there's gonna be 100 of them, right? If you've got 8 characters on the field and everyone has to take their turn in a specific order, and you're out of the turn queue when you do a charge attack, it's not gonna fill up too much on the screen. And so I don't think it's gonna be a mess of like every single character. It could possibly happen, but every single character is doing a charge. Well, then time resolves very quickly at that point, because it's like nothing else is happening. So the very first thing that's going to happen is a charge attack will resolve immediately. It'll be off the deck, and if everyone's charging, then nobody can do anything anyways. So as a piece of information, it's useless. But as soon as they start resolving, then the list will just compact very rapidly. I think right, but again, it's turn based. So it's 8 characters on the board, chess like, it's tactics. Right. That's what the Gantt is for. So the idea being, we could easily tie who started the charge attack, because it would have been on their turn, right? So there's a link between who started the attack, because it would have been started on their turn. So who is affected by it, I feel, should be represented over on the corner here. And we stack their portraits together, and then that way it's clear who's being affected. Now, if you know that you're in this list and your turn, let's say let's do it with the symbols of the circles and the squares. Let me just show you. Okay, we'll just break it down. So let's say we've got square, triangle, circle, and then square. Oops. Wow, that was an old man moment right there. Triangle. You know what? We need more shapes. Just one more. How about a quadrifoil? Is that what you call it? A bunch of little circle. Quatrefoil. And then another square. Now, squares, let's say squares charging. Squares out of the loop. So then we've got triangle. Sure. Yeah, the Discord's in the about section. I think you could do !! Discord in chat to get a link. So, okay. So let's say square has a charge attack that's happening. And in that charge attack, it's going to affect triangle and circle. And so now as triangle and circle, and then it would be like this. And then let's say there's another, we're this far in the timeline where, so this is the only charge attack. So we know at a glance, square is the one that's doing this. It's going to affect triangle and circle. And can I zoom in more? And so when triangle and circle's turns come up, we can think about that when we're making our moves and go, okay, I know that at the end of this block here, when these turns are up, that this thing is going to fire and it's going to affect these guys. And then if there happens to be another one, I really don't think that it's going to be any more than 3 at a given moment based on how resolutions and stuff will happen. And let me check. Let me get to the Discord. I'll switch monitors here. I guess I should pin this. But my concern is that the amount of exclamation, the amount of explanation, and you can throw it into share. I got rid of waves. I should have brought that. I should bring that back. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. I really appreciate all this feedback, guys. I don't know why my voice today has been doing that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, my hairline's looking, now that the camera's so high up, my hairline, what is this? I look like this is like Markiplier hair right here. This is Markiplier, just, he constantly looks like this, right? He's just like got this weird like extra hair thing going on. There we go, Markiplier. All right, I'll wait for Sean's I got rid of on my Discord I got rid of the whole wave to say hello thing because I feel like it exclude. First, it's like real spammy. The waves take up so much space in the Discord on the intro feed stuff. This will take a while. All right, I'll look forward to it. I think I'm gonna bail at the 3 hour mark. Let's raid. Who do we got, guys? Who are we gonna raid? Let me get my raid menu up. And is there anybody out there? Obsidian's going. We should raid Obsidian. Obsidian's another Godot developer. I haven't had a chance to raid Obsidian in so long. So we're going to do that. And I'll look forward to...
Not be streaming tomorrow, but I will be streaming Wednesday.
Obsidian's, he's in my chat all the time. Dude's the smartest programmer I know. Very helpful. If you can get him in your chat, it's extremely useful. He provides really excellent feedback. So, on that note, I want to say thanks for everybody hanging out. And I'm excited. I haven't gotten to raid him in so long. Actually, what's with the red circle and the enemy weakness in the octo? I'm not sure. I think it's just enemies, right? Oh. That down there. Oh, that was just in the screenshot. Yeah, you guys have a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully. And I'll be back on the regular streaming schedule, and this background's going to get better over time. And I'll figure out a better situation for the desk cam and all that stuff. Much love, everybody. Be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.